Welcome to the Political Goat. I'm your host, Uncle Felix. And on today's show, we have Bishop Hendricken, standout. Brandyn Durand is going to join us today, and we're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk some football. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Brandyn on. Give me one moment. Hey, Brandyn, how's it going?
What's going on, Uncle Felix?
How's it going today?
Hanging in there, man. Another day.
Yeah, tough. Practice today?
Yeah. So actually, they ended a little bit earlier today, so that way the guys could go get their stuff ready for prom, and then National Honor Society or English Honor Society guys had their thing to do with the parent meeting, and then just grinding it out.
Yeah,
New team. So yeah,
you're a busy guy these days. Right from football, literally next day right into right into baseball. Can't, but hey, at least we had a football season. That's what I say. I mean,
yeah,
we
for
were
sure.
obviously in danger of not having it, and obviously we had the football season. And Hendricken, of course, finished on top with the 43-22 victory over LaSalle, which is obviously the in-state rival there.
Mhm.
Tell us about that game, and what does it mean not only to win the Super Bowl, but to win the Super Bowl against your rival?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say how much better I feel like the overall all environment was with fans there. Like it was really good to be able to go there and just like look around and be like, this is what it's about. Um, but as far as the rivalry goes, I mean, that's the game we wanted all year. Like, yeah, we want to play him in the regular season, but like playing LaSalle in the Super Bowl, like that's what that Hendricken mentality and that Hendricken rivalry is about. Like that's the game we want.
Yeah, I agree, and it was a little. I think it was a little more special this year just
For
because we
sure.
didn't see them in the regular
Hmm.
season, which makes me think, RIIL should probably consider that sometimes during when making the schedule. But then
Hmm.
again, it's tough to say. It's tough not to play them during the season because that's also
Right.
huge. I mean,
Right.
obviously, because I've been to the games, and like that last crowd we had at Bishop Hendricken, with all the 20 food trucks, thousands of people,
Hmm.
and
Oh yeah,
you
that was
can't beat an
special.
atmosphere like
That was
that.
special.
So the more I'm thinking about it, maybe not. Maybe we should play them every year.
Yeah.
But you had an amazing game that game,
Thank
and
you.
the dagger in the back that sealed the game was obviously that pick six
Hmm.
late in the game. Take me through that play. What happened in that play?
Yeah, so I mean, as you know, North Kingston runs a lot of like those like those quick passes, tunnel screens,
Hmm.
and basically you're reading the quarterback and you're reading the offensive line. If the offensive line just lets you go by, it's most likely one of those tunnel screens, and they're just letting you go by because they don't want you in there. Or if it's a three-step drop and he's going to throw it back, it's a quick pass. If he does more than three steps, then you keep going. But basically, I read my keys and what I read told me to stay back, and he threw the ball right in my hands, and I just kept running.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the crowd. You heard like a big thud when you caught it. Like he
Hmm.
literally threw it right at the chest. He clearly didn't see you. But that an amazing play. Now tell me, because obviously you're a multi-sport athlete, football and baseball. Did you start both at the same time?
No, I've been playing baseball a little bit longer than I've been playing football. I've been playing baseball since I was about like 5, so pretty much t-ball. And then I picked up football middle school age around like 13, like 12, 13, right around there. But I mean, as soon as I went on the field with pads, I fell in love with it just as much as I did with baseball. Actually, quick little story about baseball. I was not a big baseball fan when I was a kid. And
No.
then one year, yeah, no, I was the kid who would pick dandelions in the outfield. Like you're just like, hey mom, look what I got you.
Yeah.
And then one year, my cousin made the All Star team. And my dad was the coach, and I didn't like that. And it's kind of ever since then, that's kind of like where I guess my drive came from. And then since there, I just play for the love of the game.
Nice. Nice. Speaking of drive, which is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, you, y- your determination that I can see on the field is almost second to none.
Hmm.
Where does that come from? Like, is it something you how should I say that you draw from within? Is it just there? Like how do you explain where your determination comes from?
I like to think that I got that from my parents because they've always been huge on if you're gonna do something, you better do it 100%.
Hmm.
Um, and it's almost like it doesn't really matter what it is, if it's sports, if it's school, if it's just going like to hang out with friends. Like when I'm doing something, like I just kind of go in like a different mode. Like I flip a switch and like I'm focused and like that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm getting done. And
Yeah,
with football, I'm lucky where I really don't have to have a lot of restrictions and I can just go out and do whatever the hell I want.
yeah, you got the athletic ability where you can definitely take gambles and recover even if you make the wrong choice. But but um the like how should I say it? So the thing is, I notice a lot of kids, they'll say they love the game. You know what I mean? And after watching, somebody like with your talents and your determination, I come to determination. No, they really just like the game,
Hmm.
because the love of the game. I see you definitely have it. Like what I want you to talk about a little bit is tell me about what it takes to be the kind of athlete that you are. Like it's not just obviously natural talent. It's more than that.
Right. So I would say for number one, you don't play for trophies. Like I feel like a lot of people like they just want to win that trophy. That's all I want. Like no, like I play for the game and I play for my brothers around me. Because if you start playing for like just a piece of plastic, in my opinion, like you're not going to go as far as if you're playing for that guy who's putting just as much work in as you are.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I believe that's a great question, Felix.
Just thought of
Um, if you're, I mean, obviously some of it just kind of comes naturally, but like if you're gonna like, man, I mean, other than that, I really don't. I'm trying to think of something else, but I mean, like, really, all I can think about is just like, you can't, you can't play for yourself, and you can't play for anything other than like the people around you, because like that's
it.
what's gonna push you the furthest.
And is that where like as you know, playing for Hendricken, it's all about protecting the legacy. So is that where that comes from? Like
Yeah.
talk on that. Like obviously, being a player at Bishop Hendricken, it's championship or bust. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Yeah.
so what I want to hear from you is talk about the pressures of that. Isn't any pressure? What are your thoughts on that?
Not so much as pressure is more of like we just know what we have to get done. I mean, as you know, those guys like going all the way back to like Will Blackman and coming just right from Quiddy, Xavier Truss, like all those guys, like they've built up our legacy. Our job is to keep it going, but not only to keep it going, but it's to pass it down to those underclassmen and show them what what Hendricken's all about, and like that what
Hmm.
that legacy really is. And I mean, to go back to like what we talked about earlier about that Hendrick and LaSalle rivalry and in the state championship, like that's the game we want. That's showing those guys how we win and how we do things.
Hmm. And what's your advice to like the rising, freshmen coming into Hendricken or kids who plan going to? What's your advice to them? How will they succeed at a school at Hendricken, which obviously has a ton of talent?
Not giving up when you face adversity. I mean, you were there freshman year when we lost to LaSalle our first time. I don't think I've
Mhm.
lost to LaSalle again. We
No.
faced a little adversity. We came back and we've done what we needed to do to win.
Hmm.
Um, but what I can say is there was definitely like during that game, like after it, like the taste that left in my mouth, like I know I never wanted to feel that again. So we went through a little bit of adversity, but overall, I think it made us better. But the biggest thing I could say is don't let that adversity take over you and just let it eat at you. Make yourself
Hmm.
better from it.
Hmm. All right, let me put a pause on you real quick. I'm going to cut the
All right.
commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Pharmaceutical company Prevacus says their new concussion medication Prevacol helps repair nerves and promote cell growth.
There, we can get the drug in the brain in less than 5 minutes. And our plan is when we get that diagnosis on the field of play, give the drug nasally, get it in the brain quickly. When it gets in the brain, it actually gets into the nucleus of your brain cells, and it reduces swelling, inflammation, and oxidative stress at the same time.
When Jake and I first talked about this many years ago, one of my first questions was, will this help me? And he goes, no, this is for treatment immediately when a concussion or you think a concussion has occurred.
Yeah.
The acute problems that exist later on in life, if we can take care of these at an early age and start getting some of these things to our children and grandchildren, and I think we can make this game, our game, football, a safer place.
And so the whole goal is we're trying to make the game safer. And so Odyssey and this drug, we believe, can be a game changer in so many different ways. Yes, on the football field, in the game of football, because that's where my passion lies, but also in the game of life.
And we're back, and I'm here with Brandyn Durand, who coming off a Super Bowl victory, 43-22 win over LaSalle, and now it's baseball season. Brandyn, how's that going so far?
Pretty good. Actually, perfect. Talk about a little bit of adversity. Second game of the season was a tough matchup against a very, very talented Coventry team. They've been together a long time. They got a lot of chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They beat us 5-0. But even as a team, we were never really worried. We kind of just went to practice the next day and hey, let's go. We got to work harder. We've come back. We're on a 3-game win streak. We got another game tomorrow against Cranston East, so we're hoping to keep that going. But like I said earlier, just don't let the adversity get to you.
Is the season shortened this year because of COVID?
A little bit, yes. But
I got an thing going schedule. You guys play back. You play the teams, back to back now, right?
For the most part, yeah. A lot of the in conference games we play them back to back, and then we have a couple midweek games where it's just kind of thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the most part, everything's 2-game series.
Will you guys be going out of state? 'Cause I know usually you guys go out of state to play games. Is that going to be allowed this season, or?
I don't believe so, just because of everything. Everything's already so strict as it is. They're not trying to push their luck.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great if we could. We could go out to those prep schools in Mass, even in Connecticut, in New York, and play. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Again, I'm happy that we have a season. It's unfortunate all these things, but hey, at least we're having the seasons. So, you have committed to Kentucky baseball, and tell me about that. I know you had a few different choices. What made Kentucky your choice? Why is Kentucky home for you?
Well, one thing I would like to point out was the coaching. The coaching and the environment that they made me feel. They made me feel like I was a part of the family, and I wasn't even there yet. We went in we were watching a practice, and you could just see there was no stress, there was no tension. It was, hey, we're here playing baseball, we're getting better, and this is what our baseball program is about.
Mm-hmm.
They have my desired major, which is kinesiology, and it's actually they have the number one research hospital in Kentucky. It's a beautiful campus too.
Nice.
All the facilities there are top notch. They just built a new $50 million baseball stadium with pitching lab and every doohickey you could think of, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So again, what was that major that you're looking for?
Kinesiology. So kinesiology is the movement of the body. So I want to be either a physical therapist to start, and then I eventually want to get my doctorate and become a sports medicine physician if baseball doesn't work out, or football.
Nice. And something that people tend to forget is obviously that you guys are student athletes, and
right.
grades are very important. And so how much did grades play in the role of you being recruited?
Honestly, it doesn't matter who's being recruited. If you have good grades, that just makes you that much more of a recruitable person. I mean, first they're obviously gonna look for your athletic talent, and a very close second is your grades. Because if you're really good and you have good grades, it's almost a no doubter because you're not going to be a liability to them. Whereas
Mhm.
if you're a phenomenal athlete, but your grades are kind of like they're much less likely, especially in baseball, to recruit you just because they can't afford to it's a job for them too. They can't afford to have kids flunking off the team.
Yeah, it's a business, that's for sure, and very very cutthroat from what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
But so is there any chance that we could see you playing both sports at the next level?
Yeah, I mean, it's
You have the
definitely
talent to do so.
yeah, it's definitely something that I could think about doing. It would take a lot, but I mean, I think I could do it if I really wanted to, which I'm definitely thinking about it.
Hmm.
I think it's something that I mean, even at the SEC level, I think I could still compete, and I think I could still be great
Yeah,
and keep my grades up.
I totally agree. I disappeared on you there. I totally agree. I've seen you play obviously over the years, and you could definitely exceed at that level there. It's just going to be a
Hmm.
matter of I guess prioritizing your time because wow,
Yeah,
you would have you would have no time whatsoever to yourself.
like you said, no time.
But that's awesome. And so, any predictions for this baseball season? Are we gonna see Hendricken? Oh wow, they're not playing at McCoy. I was gonna say, are we gonna see Hendricken at McCoy at the end of the year? But no, right? It's
That's
definitely not
right.
gonna
Yeah.
happen. But I think they're playing it. I think in Warwick. Is that right?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too positive. I don't worry about that till we get there.
Yeah, one game at a time, right? Well, hey, remember it's championship plus the Hendricken. So
Yeah, for sure. No, but there was a write-up that Coach Holloway did that he knew the beginning of the season there was going to be some losses, there was going to be some controversy and stuff like that. But I mean,
mhm.
everything that he wrote in that little article is coming to life. Like we've had a couple of controversies, we've had a little adversity, we've had a couple losses, but I mean, as a team, you can really see us every day come a little bit closer and closer together,
Mhm.
and we're starting to pick up the bats now. So I think we'll be pretty smooth sailing for the rest of the year.
Well, Coach Holloway has a great track record. He's been doing it for many years. He has all the rings to back up all his talk. So not a bad guy to listen to.
Yeah.
But hey, thanks for coming on the show. Um, and obviously, you are only a junior, so you still have another year to wreak havoc on Rhode Island sports. And I look forward to watching it.
Hey, Felix, I appreciate that.
Not a problem. All right, let me kick you off the show as I close here. One moment. Well, folks, that was Brandyn Durand, a great student athlete out of Bishop Hendricken. I wish him all the luck in his future endeavors. I mean, the kid's got a bright future. My opinion, you're going to see him smashing home runs on Major League Baseball sometime in the near future. And if he chooses to, you might see him sacking quarterbacks on Sunday nights. Great kid, great student, great athlete. Um, Love everything about him. Um, that being said, that's it for my show today. Thanks for watching, and I will be back next week. God bless.